I haven't had a day off in 7 years.
Wow.
It's relentless. I went into labour very early on a Thursday morning. They let me out the Friday evening, and my first client walked in on the Saturday morning. It's probably had 46 hours off. You need to be able to spot a complication. Someone that had an occlusion in their chin, and the girl was like, I can't breathe, can you call an ambulance? So she's like, no, you're fine. Took her to hospital and were like, you're really close to dying.
Today on The Patient is Always Right, we have Natalie Kelly in the hot seat. Natalie Kelly is an aesthetic practitioner. She runs her own business, NMK Aesthetics, and she's here talking about being a mum, running a business, and why it's not as important as you think to be a medic in this industry. Let's get started. Hi, Natalie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to chat to you today. So obviously we've got loads to cover, but we always kick off our podcast with a bit of a warm-up round, if you like, our quick fire warm-up questions. So this is a this or that. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I just want you to answer like instinctively.
Okay.
So financial freedom or free creativity?
Financial freedom.
Okay. Interesting. And would you go for regenerative treatments or injectables?
Injectables.
Nice. Okay. Dealing with patients or dealing with a toddler?
Oh, patience.
Fair. Just to warm us up, thought those were a few good ones. Yeah, lovely. So for anyone that doesn't know, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and basically how you're on our sofa today.
So I'm Natalie. I'm a mum. To one already. I've got another one on the way. I'm also a dog mum. And I'm a practitioner and have been a practitioner for 7 years now. Prior to that, I actually started out my career as a makeup artist for TV and film. So always had that aesthetic eye and then just channeled it into needles.
Yeah. So what inspired you? How did you get into that?
What, the makeup?
Well, into aesthetics.
So I was actually getting my eyebrows microbladed and we were talking about Botox and lip fillers and all sorts of injectables. And I mentioned to my lady, I'd love to do something like that. And she was like, why don't you? And I was like, yeah, why don't I? So I left there, went home, done some research, and I was like, I'm going to do it. So found an academy, booked my training, which was for 2 months later. And it was the longest 2 months of my life because I'd made this life decision that I really wanted to do it. Did my training and then the rest is history.
Amazing. And you're here now chatting about it. Lovely. So yeah, tell us how you came about in terms of, did you work for a clinic? Did you sort of decide you were always going to go out on your own? How did your career begin? So
I actually had a full-time job. So I worked at a global branding agency. So my aesthetics journey started as like a side hustle, really. So I really enjoyed it, and then I do it at the weekend. So I started by doing like every other Saturday, and then it just started to really grow legs and grow. So then it was evening. So I was working all day in my day job. I do clients beforehand, really early in the morning, 6 a.m, run to the station, come into London, do my day job, then run to the train, get the train home, do clients in the evening, and then weekends. And I went on like that for a few years.
Wow.
So I worked for myself, and I think I kind of held myself back a little bit because my full-time job was my security blanket and my safety net. So it took, we were in COVID, so coming in and out of lockdown, and I was like, I'm just going to quit my job. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do it. So then I just went full-time aesthetics, and yeah, it was the best thing I ever done. I wish I'd done it sooner, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. So when someone asks like what you do, how do you describe what you do?
It depends who it is. I mean, if it's, for example, say one of my dad's friends or something, I'll say I inject faces because they don't get it. Whereas if it was one of my mum's friends, I'd say I do skin treatments, injectables, anything to rejuvenate or enhance what you've got, basically.
Yeah. And it's interesting you went from makeup to aesthetics. Was that like sort of a link in the sense that, you know, transforming someone?
Yes.
Was that
and making people feel their best? Although with makeup, sometimes you do gory scenes and so it wasn't always pretty makeup, but I liked that I could change how someone looked. And that's one of the things I love about my job now, how I can enhance and give someone that confidence boost. You know, when people come in and say, oh, I don't like this, or I'm insecure about this, having the power to enhance that and let them leave feeling a little bit more confident is really satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was a defining moment that kind of shaped your career in aesthetics?
I think it was probably lockdown.
Okay.
Because people went crazy for their treatments. And it was really, because I obviously closed in lockdown, I followed the rules. But so many people were messaging me, begging me, saying, please, I won't tell anyone. And I was like, but no one's seeing you. And they were like, no, we're on Zoom calls, I can see my face. And then when I could reopen, I reopened and I was doing 16-hour days, 6-7 days a week because I just had so many people.
Wow.
So I feel like that was a real turning point for me when I thought I've got to quit my full-time job. Like I've got something here, I've got the clients there. And that was the start of it. Yeah.
It's funny how COVID can be so like different for different people.
Yes.
Like we do hear often actually within the aesthetic and dental space that it actually really helped people's
Yes.
businesses, whereas obviously some businesses, you know, collapsed in that time. So it's so interesting that you had that experience, and great actually.
Yeah.
Great for you. So you quit your full-time job after that?
Yeah, not long after. So I quit. So I just bought my first property, which is why part of my reason for doing aesthetics on the weekend, because my salary was my salary, but this was helping me to boost my money. So I just bought my flat. And yeah, I was like, I'm going to hand in my... So everyone thought I was a little bit crazy because I had a good job, but that was well paid. And I was like, no, I'm going to work for myself. And then 2 months later, I was pregnant.
Wow.
So it was like, wow, have you made the right decision here? But I 100% did.
Yeah.
I didn't have maternity leave and things like that. And I didn't have that safety net, but it spurred me on to make sure that my career and my business was successful, because it wasn't just about me. I had a mortgage to pay and a little one that I needed to look after and fund their lifestyle. So
yeah, that's what it is. Having a kid does give you that extra driver, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you will just make it work regardless. Yeah. Like you will make it happen. Yeah. Amazing. So you obviously talked about what pulled you into aesthetics. What was the sort of defining point when you realized this is not just me having a side hustle, but this is my business? When did that sort of click for you?
When my job was getting in the way. So there came a point when I'd go to work and I think, God, I need to finish because I need to get home to my clients, and my heart just wasn't in my job anymore.
Yeah.
So I wasn't passionate, and I'd get emails with requests and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, for God's sake. And that was never me. I was always quite hardworking, and I was always really on things, and I was like, I can't be bothered anymore. And that for me was the turning point, because I thought that's not fair on me and it's not fair on my boss. I need to follow my dreams and do what makes me happy.
Absolutely.
And not just, keep working with someone else.
Yeah. So you were working evenings and weekends.
Yeah.
And then, oh wow, did you ever have time off?
Sundays or every other Saturday. I tried to protect my Saturdays because before I had my son, I had a really busy social life. So every Saturday I wanted to go out and do bottomless brunches and things like that. Yes. So I try and protect my Saturdays. Or if I was really busy, I do like 6 till 9 a.m. So just do really early in the morning, then I could get ready, go out and have some fun.
Yeah, 6 till 9. I mean, yeah. So you're a hard worker, basically. Yes. It's what we're learning here. Love that. So you've obviously got a little one, which you've spoken about, and you've got another one on the way.
Yeah.
So how do you balance being a mum, pregnant, and then also running a successful business?
Great difficulty, really. I think being super organised, I have to be organised and I have to be strict with my hours. So before I had my son, I would work every morning, every afternoon and every evening. If someone wanted a 9 o'clock on a Friday and I wasn't doing anything, I would do it. And then when I had my son, now my hours are strict. My hours are my hours. I can't really be flexible on them because it eats into my time with him. So for example, I protect Sundays. I will not work on a Sunday unless I have no space during the week and it's someone I know. I will squeeze them at like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning because I'm up early and then my partner can do my son's breakfast. So it doesn't impact him. But I'm a lot more stricter with my hours, very organised. And I try and make sure that I have one Saturday off a month if I can. So I've got a full weekend. We're going to do something as a family. I book my holidays really far in advance. So we're always doing nice things. So I think that makes it more manageable.
Yeah, for sure. And we spoke about, obviously, off camera,
yes,
how your baby came into the world. But I would love for you to tell the story because I think it just kind of sums up your work ethic, essentially.
So he was born 3 weeks, 2 days early. I went into labour very early on the Thursday morning and I was fully booked that day, as I was planning on working up until 2 weeks before my due date and then just doing ad hoc. So I was fully booked on that Thursday. Waters broke, called triage, and they said, you need to come in. I didn't even take my hospital bag because I was that convinced they were going to say, you're in early labour, go home. So I messaged all of my clients that I had that day, and I said, I'm really sorry, I just need to push you back by a couple of hours because I've got to go to hospital. Got to hospital, and they were like, you're in labour. So in between my contractions, my partner is messaging my clients on Instagram, WhatsApp, texting them. So I'm literally yelling at him, and my contractions were thick and fast because it was so quick. So I'm yelling at him in between. And then they kept me in the Thursday night. They let me out the Friday evening, and my first client walked in on the Saturday morning as the midwife walked in. So yes, wow. 48 hours, probably little less, probably have 46 hours off. But even that night when I'd had him, I was just really wired. Like, I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep because I was like, I've got this newborn and no one's checking on him and I've got to look after him. So I was messaging all of my clients and rebooking them. And then I think I put a picture of him on Instagram, like on my story, and said, the baby's here, so please bear with me over the next few days. So lots of people were like, congratulations, but let me know when you're back at work. I want to book in. And I was like, oh, I'm working next week. So all throughout the night, I'm just on my phone booking people in. It was wild.
That is wild. So did you have like a week off or 2 weeks off, or you literally just went straight back? Just went
straight back. So I was working on the Saturday. I also opened on the Sunday for the people on the Thursday that I couldn't get in. And then it was just business as normal the following week.
And you never took time off after that?
Never took time off.
Oh my goodness.
I did plan to, but my other half had 2 weeks off. And I thought, well, I've got the childcare. And then it was like, well, what's the point now?
Yeah. And how did you manage having a little one at home and then just being at work? Did you have help? It
was so difficult. It really was difficult. And my mum's brilliant. So my mum dropped a day at work. So she would have him on a Friday for me. So I would be back to back all day. And then throughout the other days, because I couldn't take him into my clinic with me, I've always had a home clinic. I was just working from home. And I would just try and do clients around him, but they're unpredictable. So I'd just try and feed him up as much as I could, get him to sleep, change his nappy, or have him in a rocker. He'd be in the corner of my room and I'd just keep rocking him with my foot as I was doing people. Wow. If I had like family, they'd be holding him, which is really unprofessional, and I wouldn't do that if it wasn't anyone but family, but they'd just hold him and he'd be asleep and I'd be doing them. It would just anything I could do to make it work. But I remember one time, I've got 2 lovely clients, they've been with me for about 7 years, mother and daughter, and the daughter had just had a baby not long after, so she was coming in for her first lots of treatments, and we had my son in the rocker in the corner. One of them was like, what's that smell? And we had this huge punami, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And they were like, don't worry. So I picked him up, just took him and changed him, and they stripped all of his rocker, just chucked it in the butt. They were so helpful, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I was like, it's fine, it's one of them things.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I pre-warned people, so if they still wanted an appointment, I was like, it's fine, but I have got the baby. But lots of people wanted to come and see the baby, so
mad.
Yeah, but it was stressful, and I think I'm probably going to be doing that again.
I was about to say, how have you got a plan for this one, what you're doing this time?
My mum's going to help more.
Nice.
So Ryan, my other half, we are for 2 months, and my mum's going to help, so it won't be as difficult.
Yeah.
It's just if you can hear them crying, sometimes you just want to go out, don't you?
Yeah, it is.
But then they're more than capable. So
well, I feel like it's amazing. Like I don't even know how you do it, so I'm in awe and looking forward to following your journey on having 2, because that's going to be mad, amazing. Yeah, I mean the whole story around your labour and everything is crazy as well, so shows you are hardworking. Are you taking some time off this time? Going to have a little maternity leave?
I think just a couple of weeks at the most, because I feel like I need work. It's my identity. Mm-hmm. So as much as I love my son and I'm going to love my children, I also need that time to step away and just be me and focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
And then get back to them. So as much as I'm going to love spending time with them, I do just need that bit of adult conversation.
Yeah.
And just speaking and just talking rubbish.
Absolutely.
With your clients and them normalising things.
I completely relate. Like you do need that sort of, it's almost like work becomes a break, which is crazy.
Yes. Even now, on a Saturday, I'm like, bye, leave my house. And I'm like, oh gosh, get to go to work for the day.
Yeah.
I'm fully booked today. Great. This is a break. No lunch break, but this is a break.
Completely agree. And you just mentioned it there. So you've got your home-based clinic, you've got another clinic as well.
Yes.
So how do you decide to split your time? Is it based on clients more so than sort of your time, or like, do you have set hours in your other clinic? How does it work?
Set hours. So it's been based around my son because he's in a private nursery. So he does Wednesdays and Thursdays. In 3 weeks, he starts preschool. So I'm mixing up my hours. So I will do every other day. So Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from home, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays from my other clinic.
Wow, so you are busy.
Yes.
Full on. Wow, amazing. So what would you say is your, or has been your biggest personal challenge in business so far, and how did you navigate that?
I think it would be the transition from not having a child to having a child. That was a difficult time because you're learning your own boundaries, and then you're having to set boundaries with people. Definitely that.
It is very hard, isn't it? It's something you can't prepare for either, because everyone's experience is so different.
Yes.
So even if someone gives you the best advice possible about running a business with a child or just having a child in general, your experience could be so different, couldn't it? And even this one, I guess, like your next child might be completely different from your first. Probably will be.
Yeah.
They say the second is easier, so...
I keep getting told the opposite.
Do you?
Yeah, the second's harder.
Oh, no. Well, everyone tells me second is easier, third is the one that becomes more difficult if you're going to have another one.
No. Don't do and done.
Okay, so we can stop at 2. Perfect. So going back to the clinic, how do you decide on treatments that you're going to introduce, like new treatments or devices? Is there like a process for you, or do you listen to your clients?
So there's a process for me. I like research. I need to know that something works, because I can't take someone's hard-earned cash if I'm not sure and go, oh, it should work. There you go. Off you go on your merry way. So I like to do research, look at other people's results, what other people are doing, and then I will trial it. So I will trial it on myself, on my mum, and on my partner. And then I've got a couple of friends as well. So I like to do like 3 to 5 people and then see their results. And if I think it's worthwhile and it's good, then I'll offer it. If it's not, if I'm not sold on something, I won't do it, because I think if you have one thing on your treatment menu that isn't good, you can lose credibility for everything. Absolutely. So I'm really particular, because I'd hate someone to walk away and go, oh, yeah, that didn't really work. Yeah, no, don't trust her. It didn't really work. Like I've built myself on trust and integrity. So yeah, I do my best to avoid ruining that.
Has there ever been a treatment that you tried that everyone was sort of raving about that you just didn't rate and didn't introduce?
The Lumifeel lip booster.
Okay.
I just don't rate that at all. I'm like, what is the point? It really annoys me. I actually done a little bit of I did a video on it, because if you want hydration in your lips, just have a very small amount of filler. It's going to last a lot longer. If you're having a lip booster, you're still going through the discomfort as you would with lip filler, but you're not getting the long-term results. Like, I just think it's a waste of money. I just think they were like, oh, we need to bring out a new product. What do we do? And then that came onto the market. And when I saw people offering it, it would frustrate me, because I was like, why are you offering this to your clients? It's not any good. Like, so yeah, that's probably the only thing that I think, just absolute no. And PDO cog threads, I actually trained in them. So I'm trained in PDOs. So PDO mono threads are one of my most popular treatment, and I love them. They're brilliant. But the cogs, like, why are we offering that as a treatment? Like, they're terrible. They're really dangerous. They can snap. They're very expensive. So yeah, that's another one that I tried it. So I trained in it, and then I tested it. And then I had a model day. So I did like my nearest and dearest and clients that have been with me for a long time. So I said, this is for content and for me to practice. And it got to the end of the day and I was like, nah.
You just didn't go for it?
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Wow. No, and I mean, it's good that you made that call, even though you kind of half invested in it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's not right for you, there's no point in introducing it. So what is your favourite treatment to do in clinic?
Probably filler, because I feel like filler was my baby. That was the first thing that I trained in and that I really mastered. And that gave me my confidence, because when you do your training, you don't know if you're going to be any good at it, do you? It's really scary. And when I was doing it, I was like, no, I'm good at this. Like, I can do it. So that's always been my thing. So I love doing filler. And I think you've got the opportunity to really enhance someone. So if I'm doing a set of lips, I can really enhance and change the shape. And I've had clients that have been in like accidents. So I had one that had been bitten by a horse, and we managed to reconstruct her lip with filler, and that was and she cried, her mum cried, her nan cried, I cried. Like, it was really lovely. So Probably filler. I love anti-wrinkle because it's just quick and easy. Polynucleotides. I really enjoy doing polynucleotides because when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this is doing so much good for you. And I just know that they're going to get brilliant results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all of it, really. There isn't anything.
They've all got their place, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. And I guess treatment layering is like the dream when you get to really transform someone from like skin to structure. That must be really rewarding as well. Yeah, I love it. So are you seeing, and I mean, I haven't actually asked you this question, so let me start there. Do you treat men as well? Or
yes,
is it, yeah,
I do.
Are you seeing more men coming in?
Absolutely. I think year on year, it grows every year. It often starts with men being dragged in by their wives or girlfriends. And I'm like, what are we doing on you? And they're like, she'll tell you. And they'll be like, right, do this on him, do that. And I'm like, okay, are you happy with this? Like, let's do this.
Love that.
And they end up becoming worse than the wives or the girlfriends.
Really?
Yeah. But they're really organised. Like every 3 months, they're like, right, I'm doing my anti-wrinkle. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's book you in.
Love that.
Yeah, they love it. And I love that as well.
Yeah, I was talking to someone on the podcast a couple of episodes ago who were talking about how men are really good at sticking to routines, and like when they get into it, they really get into it.
Yeah,
Do you
they
find
don't
that
miss
as well?
their appointments. Yeah, they're really, really good, and they don't go outside of their time window. Because I get a lot of women that do, because life gets busy. We're all guilty of it, but men don't seem to do that.
That's crazy, isn't it? So with the men, what's their sort of most popular treatment that you're seeing requested or that you do?
Anti-wrinkle. And then I'd say jaw filler.
Okay.
I do a lot of jaw filler on men and quite a lot of tear trough filler on men.
Interesting. So is that more like masculinization of the jaw, that kind of trend?
And not changing them. So they never look like they've had anything done. Everything just looks a little bit better. And the anti-wrinkle is preventative and just softens the deep lines. Because I never want a man to walk out and be completely smooth, because I'm like, that's not going to look good. So yeah, it's just to soften and prevent.
That's great. I love that men are doing more. And you're seeing it even with skin routines and things, aren't you, as well? Like definitely more targeting men I've seen as well. So would you say that the industry is a bit too focused on like short-term tactics, sort of at the expense of trust? Like you talked about trust of like bringing the partner in and things like that. Have you started to notice that a bit with the aesthetic industry?
Yes, but I don't think that's necessarily the industry. I think it's certain people within it. So I think you can get practitioners that go and do a one-day course, and then they just want to get people in and get as much money in as they can. So they're not completely honest with their clients. So if I get someone who comes in and they say, I want 5 mil on my face today, I'm like, no, you don't. If you don't need it, I'm not doing it. Where I think there's other people out there that will go, yeah, okay, I'll do it, and just take the money.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people like that in the industry that don't see themselves being in it for a long time for whatever reason, because they're not that fast. But I think you get that within any industry, don't you?
Yeah, and like on that, I think there's a real stigma against like non-medic versus medic in the aesthetics industry. How have you found that? Because obviously you're not a medic, but you have amazing credentials, you're doing amazing things. Do you ever feel that from sort of more your peers, I suppose, than your clients?
No, and I'm really lucky that I've never had any horrible comments or anyone say anything like that. But I think it's because of the duration that I have been in the industry for. Because I've been around for 7 years, my clients don't question things like that, because they can see my work, see that I'd like to think that it's good, and I'm honest. So I think when they meet me, or if they have a consultation with me, they're not that fun. And a lot of people don't even ask.
Yeah.
So people just, and if I have someone come to me and they've been to someone else and I'm doing like a correction, or we need to get a situation resolved, if I ask them what product was used, they don't know. If I ask where the person trained, people don't know. They're not questions that clients are asking practitioners.
Interesting. And do you think with the changes in regulations, obviously it's very, very early days, do you think that will shift and people will maybe start sort of questioning training more, like where people have trained, their background?
Yeah, I think it will a little bit, but I think some people just see a cheap price and they go for that, but then that's on them, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You can't control that side of it, I
no,
suppose.
Because I've had people that have come to me and they've been somewhere else and they're like, oh, well, it was only like £100 for a meal. And I'm like, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And you hear that quite well. Do you know what, actually? I used to hear that a lot more when I started out. I don't hear that as much now. So I think people are more educated because we've got things in the media And we've now got like TikTok and people do reels. So I think a lot of practitioners educate people, don't they? So it has definitely changed. It's got better, and I'd like to think it continues to get better, just for the sake of people that may not really know what they're letting themselves in for, or might be a little bit naive or new to it all, and just trust someone and they're not really a trustworthy person.
Absolutely. And I think someone mentioned it again on the podcast, that it doesn't matter so much if you're a medic or non-medic, it's the training, because it's, and also what you put into it, because you can do a 1-day course as a doctor and, you know, yes, you're a doctor, but doesn't mean you know. Or for example, we talk about anatomy within dentistry. A dentist is probably the most amazing person to go to for facial anatomy. So they, in theory, should be great once they take up Botox or filler or something like that. But, you know, you can be a nurse and then suddenly start next day, do a course and start doing fillers. So do you think it matters if you're a medic or non-medic?
No, because I think there's good practice and bad practice, and I have seen both from both. So I have had corrections from people that have been to beauticians that have done a 1-day course. I've done corrections from doctors, dentists, nurses. Yeah, so I think it's like what you said, it's what you put into it. So you've got to do your training, and you've got to know your anatomy inside out, but you've also got to know your complications. You need to be able to spot a complication. So this is what I say to my clients. If it's someone new and I'm trying to educate them, I say complications can happen. It can happen to anyone at any point in their career. It's how we deal with it. If you get an occlusion today, I need to spot it straight away. If I rectify it, you're fine. If I let you go and you're gone for 3 to 5 days, you're going to have necrosis. That's when it's really dangerous. And I've heard such horror stories. I heard a story a few weeks ago of someone that had an occlusion in their chin. So the practitioner patch tested her, and the patch test come up positive, like she shouldn't be dissolving it. She went ahead and dissolved the chin, and the girl was like, I can't breathe, can you call an ambulance? So she's like, no, you're fine. And she was like, no, like my throat's closing up, I really can't breathe. So the practitioner was trying to call her prescriber, who wasn't answering, called 111, who said, like, this is an emergency. In the meantime, her prescriber was calling her back and was like, no, you need to call 999. This is anaphylaxis. Like, you need to. And she was just so blasé about it. Called 999. Luckily, there was an ambulance there within minutes, took her to hospital, and were like, you're really close to dying. But the practitioner was so blasé, like, no, you're fine. If someone said to me, my throat's closing up, I'd be like, right, adrenaline, 999, like.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that was probably a reflection of them being like in denial that this is happening?
Yeah, probably don't want to deal with it. But then you should know, you have to be prepared for that. None of us want that to happen. Of course you don't, but you have to know what to do in that situation.
Absolutely. That's so scary. Yeah. Yes. It highlights like how important training is, and not just training of the treatment, but training on what to do if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And staying on top of it and doing things every year. So I haven't just trained once and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm always doing new things. I'm learning new techniques. Like you're never going to be the best. There's always people out there that have got a better technique of you. So I always want to learn off of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And make sure that my first aid is up to date. And I know what to do in an emergency.
Yeah.
Because I don't want someone's death on my hands.
Absolutely not. God, can you imagine? So what trends do you think will be shaping aesthetics in the next 5 years, and which ones are you hoping will disappear as well?
I think I've seen a shift in skin, and I think that will continue. A lot of people really taking care of their skin, and this is something that I've always tried to tell my clients, because they're coming for filler and anti-wrinkle, but I'm like, if you're not hydrating your skin, if you're not drinking water, if you're not taking collagen, if you're not moisturizing, your treatments aren't going to look as good. So I've seen that shift, and a lot of my clients that I've been 10 for years now come in and go, I've got a new skincare routine, or I've been taking this, I've been doing this. So I've seen a shift in that, and I do microneedling. A lot more people are having microneedling done now. So I think that will continue, and I think we'll see new treatments coming out for skin. And then things that I hope will kind of go, and that probably will go, I think breast and bum filler. They're really dangerous. I just don't see why people offer that, and you put people at risk.
I didn't even know that breast filler was a thing until the other day. It's highly dangerous, but people are still doing it.
Madness. I don't get it.
No.
So hopefully I think that should be banned, completely banned. And then the cog pedio threads, I think they need to go. And I think if they are done, it just needs to be in a surgical setting.
Yeah, fair
because
enough.
the size of the incision you need to make, it needs to be in a surgical setting.
Yeah, absolutely. So going on to your patients or your clients, what do you call them, patients or clients?
I call them clients because I think a patient's going to someone for a medical treatment, and because I'm not treating them medically, I call mine clients.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. Some people are like patients. Clients. So funny.
I think it depends on your background.
Yeah,
so I think
absolutely.
like doctors and nurses call their clients patients. Although I've got a supplement company as well. My business partner is a nurse prescriber and she calls hers clients. So
okay. So it's down to personal preference, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So what's something that your clients or peers might not know about your business?
That it is 24/7. I haven't had a day off in 7 years.
Wow.
It's relentless. But I signed up for that and it's fine. It's part and parcel of it. But you don't ever get a holiday, because if I go on holiday, I don't ever put it on my socials and say I'm away.
Yeah.
I'll message you when I get back, because if someone needs me, they need me. It could be that someone thinks they're having an emergency, because some people panic about a bruise, don't they?
Yeah.
So if I'm away on holiday and they're panicked about this bruise, by the time they've Googled it, it's going to say that they've got like a week to live. So I prefer to just reply to them and say like, you're going to be fine. So even on holiday, I'm working. The middle of the night, if I get up and go to the toilet, I've got messages and I'll respond. I'm quite bad at that. I need to stop that. So it's a 24/7 thing.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how do you manage being the face of your business? Is that something you always knew you would be?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you love it?
I do, because I don't think I really know any different. And I love it because I've got the relationship with my clients.
Yeah.
And I've got some great clients. We have great relationships and we have a laugh and we know a lot about each other. So I'm happy with that.
And have you ever thought about growing in the sense of building a bigger team and having more people to manage as well as kids?
I did. So I took someone on, was it last year or the year before? Lovely. She trained with me a few years ago. Been one of my clients for a long time with her mum. Really lovely. But it just didn't work. People they wouldn't book in with her. It was really hard for me to try and get people to book in with her because they wanted me, which I get, because if that was me and I'd been going to someone for a long time, you want to stick with that person. But even new clients. So we were starting to build her up, but she needed to earn more money. She's in her early 20s. I don't think she's the most patient person. So she wanted it all overnight and I just couldn't achieve it overnight. But I wouldn't rule it out. I probably would go down that route again, because I think it's nicer to have a bigger team. But I think you have more problems.
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, that's the one thing about like running a business. It's the team. It's actually, it's not the business itself. It is literally the people.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've got to have really good, and I think she's amazing. So I'd have her back in a heartbeat. But trying to find the right people that represent you.
Yes.
Work as hard as you. No one's going to work as hard as you at your business than you. That's a given, isn't it?
Yeah.
And respect the space and let you know if something's out of stock. Because I don't want to be going in the day after and then there suddenly be no filler left. So it's setting them expectations and getting people that work alongside you and work well, which is very scary.
You just gave me PTSD with the stock. It just took me back straight away to like walking in and finding out like we've got one product left and we've got a client later, and it's just like,
I know. And then what do you say to the client? Oh, sorry, we're out of stock. Like,
awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel you on that one. So when clients want you, and let's say not a team member, like when you were going through this, how did you actually manage that? Did you just have to kind of take over and do the treatment? Is that what happened most of the time?
So we'd have days. So I got her in on, say, a Tuesday, because that would be my day off with my son at that point. So I'd work Tuesday evening. So I'd have the daytime off. So I'd get her to go into clinic on that day. And when people were booking in, I'd say, oh, you can have me or you can have Molly. And it was a discounted rate and she's in on a Tuesday. Some people were like, yeah, great. And then others, no, I want you. And so I gave them the decision. And if they wanted me, I didn't push them. I'd say, okay, that's fine.
So in a way, I guess you had to kind of make the conscious choice about like patient experience or client experience and scaling, because obviously if it's you, there's only so much you can scale.
So many hours in the day. And
Yeah. So it shows how much you love your clients, really.
Yeah.
You chose them over scaling. Love that. And you're very like, obviously you talked about filler and that you love doing filler and that's like kind of your passion. How do you define sort of natural results? Is that something that is important to you and your brand?
Yeah, very. And I think if you look at my work, it is very natural driven results. And that's because I say to my clients, good work shouldn't be seen. You should leave here and someone that doesn't know you should just think she looks great and think, well, has she had a little bit of work? Has she not? They should not go, well, she's got filler in her lips. She's got filler in her cheeks. Oh, look, her face doesn't move. It should be, and I say, I'm not God. I'm not here to change your face. I'm here to enhance you. So that's why I really love the natural results. And I do have some clients that want to go the slightly bigger side of lips. So I say there's a range. So as long as you stay within that range and you're not going too beyond the bigger side of that range, I'm happy to do it. But when you start to get too far, then no.
Yeah. So when that was actually gonna be my next question. So when you have to say no to a treatment, how do you communicate that so it actually like strengthens your, I guess, relationship and doesn't damage it?
I explain why. So I'll say, look, we've worked really hard to get what we've got. If I put more in, you're going to throw off the balance of your face. Because if someone's got really big lips, for example, it can ruin their other features. Like it should all be in balance. So I explain to them, I'll explain it to them in my way of explaining it, which will be like, well, we don't want your lips to be big in this and all the angles and stuff. And then I'll explain it in a way that makes sense to them. So they've got both sides of the coin. Yeah. And I just always say to them, like, I've got your best interest at heart. So I can say, yeah, okay, I'll take your money and I'll do it. But I've got sleep at night. And I want to know, I want to go home and think I've done a good job today and they're happy and they look good. And people become treatment blind. So they'll be like, my lips have gone down, my cheeks have gone down. And I'm like, they haven't. They're like, they have. Clients don't see what everyone else sees. So if I do that for them and they might think they look great for a year or so, but other people are going to be looking at them like, who done that? And that's a bad reflection of me. And you will get found out because in a year's time, 2 years' time, they are suddenly going to go, oh my God, my face, I need to get it all dissolved. And then they're going to think, why does she do that to me? So I explain that to them as well. Yeah, I'm just really honest with people, really honest.
And I guess you just touched on it, like they are your walking billboard, aren't they?
Yes.
So you want people to say how amazing they look and and in fact, like you said, if someone says, oh, you're just looking really good at the moment, you're glowing, and they say, well, I had this done by this person, surely that's the best advertisement.
Yes. I had a consultation yesterday with someone and she said, oh, I met someone in the gym and you do her. We were just talking in the class and I didn't know she had anything done. I just thought she looked good. So I got your number and there we were having a FaceTime consultation.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it is definitely true. Where if she looked hideous, you'd be thinking, oh, where did you go? Because I don't want to go there.
Absolutely.
And it's a small world and everyone talks. So you've got to take pride in your work.
Yeah, I guess, that's such a good point. And on consultations, actually, because I meant to ask this earlier, do you charge for consultations or are they free?
I do if it's a face-to-face. If it's a video one, then I don't. So I try and push people into doing that. And it's just because it's easy for my time because I can put my son to bed and then jump on and do a video call.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to do that than have to, and if it's a new client, drive into my clinic, not my home clinic. So I always say to them, and it makes no difference. I can see what I need to see on camera, and as soon as I see them and they tell me their concerns, I know what treatment they need. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And when you're doing a consultation, what's your process? Like, obviously people have, particularly around aesthetic treatments, a figure in mind usually that they want to spend. Are you quite transparent about money, or do you find out more so about their concerns and then talk about the treatment?
Yeah, so I'll spend the first few minutes listening because I want to get the measure of them. Now that could be that, are they a red flag client? Because sometimes I get people that be like, say, I've been to 5 practitioners and this has happened, and I think you're the problem, not the practitioner. I don't want to see someone that just moans and complains about everyone. And I also listen because they'll point to areas that they don't like, and then I know what they want and what they need. And I can also tell if someone's going to be really nervous or if they're blasé about it. So if someone needs more than one thing done, I'll say, well, we can do it in stages. Why don't we do this first and that? Where if I think that they're like, I want to do it all in one go, then I can do them a plan where we do it all in one appointment, because some people want it all done in one go because time and they just want it done, and other people you need to kind of space it out. So I try and work out what's best for them what they need and then how we can achieve it. And then talk about budget, because aesthetic treatments aren't cheap. So if they can only afford a certain amount, then I have to work out what they're going to get the most from straight away and what's going to last. And then I'll give them options as well. So I'll say, we can do this, or we can do this, and then potentially do this in the future.
Yeah, fair enough. So you like kind of give them the choice, essentially.
Yeah, and then I say, think about it. Then if you want to book in, message me and we'll get you booked in. And if you want any more information. So I kind of give them everything they need to go away and think about it. Because the other thing I don't like is if someone comes in for a consultation, we have a consultation, if it is face-to-face, they're like, oh, can you do it now? I'm like, no, you need to go away and think, be sure this is what you really, really want. Unless someone books in for a consultation and says, I definitely want this done, but can we talk about it and talk about amounts and potentially something else, that's fine. But if they come in and they've got no idea and then they want things that I'm like, no, go away, because I don't want to do it and then you leave and regret it or think, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's so interesting. And then I guess because you also do polynucleotides and things like that, how do you sort of stack your treatments and layer your treatments? What's your approach generally if someone comes in with like skin concerns and they want filler or Botox or whatever it might be?
I always say to people, one thing isn't just going to fix everything. Like, you need to do little things. So I start with their main concern and then I'll say we should do this. So if someone has tear trough filler, for example, they may not need it done again for 3 years. But within that 3 years, we want to keep the eyes looking good. So I can't put more filler in because I'm going to overfill you, but we want to improve the health and the condition of the skin. So if anyone has tear trough filler, I'll say, come back in a year and we'll do a course of polynucleotides, because that's going to keep them looking fresher for longer and you might get a bit longer out of your filler. So I try and stack things like that, but not so I'm getting them back more. It's so that they're getting the most out of the treatments that they've had. Same with if someone's having polynucleotides all over their face, I recommend doing that with a skin booster, because I'm like, the results you're going to get, they're going to work really well together. Yeah. So I try and do things that work well together and that enhance and help each other.
Yeah, I love that. So what's one thing you do in your patient journey or client journey to build trust from the very first sort of interaction?
I think the listening, because people want to feel heard. They don't want to go into someone that's like, yeah, just sit on the bed. Yeah, well, I'm going to do this. You want to feel like your practitioner is listening to you and gets you. So listening and just being honest and really explaining things and setting expectations. That is so important.
Yeah, I can imagine, because often with aesthetic treatments where you can see or you kind of know the result you want, but they don't know the journey on that. So for example, on Instagram, they see someone and they're like, I want to look like that, but how many treatments did it take? How long was that journey? Do you find that an issue, like having to really explain that to someone?
Yes, and especially with anti-wrinkle, because people think they can start anti-wrinkle in their 40s or 50s and they're going to be completely smooth and frozen, and it doesn't work like that. So I have to really explain to people, if you're starting in your 40s or 50s, you've missed the boat a little bit, but we can soften and we can prevent any lines getting worse. But I think people look at people on the telly who are quite frozen and think that's how they're going to look. So I have to explain that's other treatments, that's facelifts and other things. So yeah, I have to really, really, especially with anti-wrinkle.
Yeah. Do you see a big difference between your younger clients and your older clients in terms of what they're asking for?
Yes. So the younger ones want to look more done. I've had people send me pictures and they're like, can you make me look like this? I've found a filter and I put a filter on my face. So if I have some, and I'm like, no, please don't compare yourself to a filter. So yeah, you have to really set your expectations with them and also explain to them like it's not going to look good. You don't want to have too much, but the younger ones always want more.
Interesting.
The older ones are more about looking good for their age.
Yeah. So do you find you're doing more regenerative treatments on older clients?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really interesting shift that I keep hearing, because obviously polynucleotides have been around for quite a while, but they're very new in terms of like people's knowledge of them. So are you finding they're more leaning towards the sort of 40 plus client?
Yes, but also I do a lot of cheek filler in the 40 plus clients just to lift everything back up and for volume loss, and even this bit here because that kind of sags and we lose volume. So I do a lot of filler there, but when they leave, they don't look like they've had filler. You could never look at them and work it out. So it's just putting back in what time's taken. So I do have that, but sometimes they're very scared of filler, and I'm like, no, just trust me. This is what it would do, and I'll explain it. I'm like, go away and think about it. And more often than not, they come back and they haven't. They're like, I should have done this sooner. So a lot of filler, polynucleotides, skin boosters. People like skin boosters, but I think that's because I have skin boosters. I mean, I'm not at the moment when my face is cracking, but they always notice it. They're like, you're really glowing. I'm like, skin booster. They're like, all right, give me one of them.
Absolutely. I had Profilo done recently and I love it. I'm now hooked. That's it now for life.
That is my toxic trait. I'm like, that is my addiction, but you know, I could be a crackhead, so I prefer to be addicted to skin boosters.
Oh, I love it as well. I feel like when you see the difference after like a week after your second one, it's like you're just like, wow, I can't not have that now.
Yeah,
I can't go back.
And it just, if you put anything on your face, it just sits nicely. It's nice if you're on holiday and you don't want to wear makeup. I love them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still feel like they're quite new in the general term of like people talking about it. They don't quite know what it is yet.
Yeah, because they're like, how do you do it? Is it injectable? Do you put it on? Like people still don't, they're not very educated around it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to see where it's going to go. I think we're going to see more of that to come, for sure. So what do you think most clinic owners get wrong about future-proofing their business?
I think staying on top of trends, but not fads. So staying on top of trends, learning about new products, and new techniques, because things are changing all the time. So, for example, when I first trained in jaw filler, it was done with a needle, where I now do it with a cannula. So after I had that basic knowledge and then I looked at what other people were doing, I thought, oh, I'm going to try that and see if it works better. And I tried it and I've never looked back, because you get a better result and it's safer, it's easier. So I think you have to be aware of what's going on around you. You can't become stuck in your ways and think you know it all. Yeah. So look at what other people are doing and try it. Yeah.
So do you personally try treatments as well? Like, will you try all treatments on yourself first?
Yeah. I normally do on myself first of all. If it's something that, if it was, I don't know, a new lip filler or something, then I wouldn't, because I feel like I like my lips the size they are. But if it's like a skin booster or a new device, then I try it on me first of all, because I need to know how it feels. So if someone says to me, is that painful? I can't say, I don't know. So even I offer nose filler, but I've never needed it. But when I first trained in it, I just put the tiniest little bit into my nose, because I can't, how do I explain to people how it feels if I haven't had it done?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair enough. I like that. That's good. So going back to your business as a whole, if you had to start again today, what would you do differently?
Honestly, not a lot, because it has been a journey. I think I probably would have started putting my face out there earlier, because it took me a long time to do that, because I was scared. You don't really want to put yourself out there, do you? Where now I don't really care. But I would have started doing reels and things like that sooner. But then that's only been in recent years. But everything else, it just kind of, it grew, and it did what it needed to do at the right time. It felt like it was all, Yeah, sorry, it's a bit of a boring answer, isn't it?
Perfect. That's good. Serendipitous, like it was meant to be. So how do you find your client, like new clients now? How do they find you?
Mainly Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram and word of mouth. Those are my two biggest.
Amazing.
I'd probably say word of mouth and then Instagram, because I think people hear about you from their friends and then they'll go onto your Instagram to suss you out.
So have you done any sort of advertisement before? Do you generally not advertise?
Not really. So I've done like the paid ads and things like that on Instagram and Facebook. I don't think they make that much difference, to be honest. I really do think word of mouth is the best way.
Yeah. And there's something, I can never remember this stat, but something that someone said to me, that even business that comes through Instagram, it's almost like turned into an ecosystem. So for example, if someone sees you on Instagram and then they'll go and speak to someone, they'll then come back to Instagram, and that will be their like reaffirmment to come and try you, if that makes sense. And then the other way around. So like you said, if someone's referred them, they'll then go to Instagram and come through Instagram, but they actually came from someone else. So it's almost like created this ecosystem.
Yeah, and Instagram's great. And I think especially in this industry, because you've got the befores and afters.
Yeah.
And you can just scroll and look, and it's quite, I say to my clients that if you get bored before bed, you can't sleep, it's better than counting sheep. You can just go through all my pictures. But it's good because you have a visual and people like a visual.
Yeah.
Where if you're trying to sell a product's really hard to market on Instagram because it's just pictures of the product or people using
Absolutely. And you've got patient experience, you've got journeys, all of that you can showcase through Instagram.
And you can do education. Yeah, so I think Instagram's really, really good for...
And you're very active on it, which I love. I was going through your Instagram this morning, just to get to know you a little bit more. And it's
like a full-time job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know. That is a very good point, actually. I don't know how you're doing all the things you're doing and keeping an active Instagram with followers and engagement.
Drafts. I save things because you can schedule them on Instagram. But I tried it once and my scheduled posts didn't go and now I've lost trust in it. But if I get like a spare hour, or sometimes I'll do my befores and afters. If I'm treating myself to a bath tonight, I mean, I do shower every day, but if I have a bath, I'll sit there and I'll do my befores and afters and then I just save them into my draft. So I'll suddenly think, I need to post, and then I can just hit go. Or if I've got the morning off and I'm at soft play, then I'm just quickly trying to do it while I'm following my son around. It's any little snippet of time I can get.
Yeah,
I do them.
Amazing. Yeah, you're a very hard worker. So how do you keep your offerings relevant without becoming too sort of, you mentioned it, like not trend led, but like hype led, I would call it?
I think I follow my gut, and if I believe in a treatment, then I'll offer it and I'll do offers around it and I'll promote it. If I don't believe in something or I think it's a bit wishy-washy and it's not going to be around, I'm like, what's the point? It's devaluing me and it's devaluing my business.
Absolutely. And can you usually tell when something's going to be like a fad versus a trend?
I think so. I think after having a lot of years experience, I think you can kind of tell. Where when you first come into it, everything's exciting. Something new comes out, you're like, I've got to do that and I need to do it quick and I'll do a post on it because I need to jump on it quick. I kind of like to sit pretty for a few weeks and see what's going on instead of just jumping on something because it's the next thing that you need to jump on or trying to stay relevant. Yeah. Because everything changes so quick.
Absolutely. I agree. Like there's always a new treatment. There's always a new trend. There's always a new technique, isn't there?
Yeah. And it was like, did you ever see the butterfly lips that came out?
I did.
Like, what was that about? And anyone who knew anything about filler and the anatomy and dissolving, it just doesn't work. You can't just dissolve a little bit. Dissolve as a liquid. You've got no control over it. Like that was just, so when I saw people jumping on that, I lost respect for other practitioners because I thought you're just doing this for the financial gain.
Yeah.
You don't actually care long term about your clients, or you're just not clued up. You don't know what you're doing. So either way, you've lost my respect.
Oh gosh, yeah. No, it is crazy. Like the Tinkerbell nose and all those different things that came out. That was very like, I'd say 2022 to 24. It was like a real, just these stupid names for different.
Like the Kylie package.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, how cheesy.
Yeah. All to just buy into something. Yeah, absolutely. So what's one cliche about the aesthetic industry that you would love to debunk?
Probably that it's really bitchy, because I do think it's really bitchy, but equally I think there's lovely practitioners out there that aren't bitchy and just want to do well and they want other people to do well. I've got practitioners that I talk to all dotted around the country that I've never met, but we'll talk and we'll stay in touch, especially if a new treatment comes out, or sometimes they'll message me and say, can you just check this? You think it's a bruise? Because you're working by yourself. You need to have someone to bounce off of, and they're lovely. So yeah, I think that cliche that it's just very, very bitchy, I'd like to debunk.
Love that. So we're getting to the end of the episode. So I'm sure you know there is a question that I have to ask. There's two questions actually, but this one first. We love to hear about stories. This all started, for a bit of context, because I have had some crazy stories in clinic, in salons and all sorts. And it's just something that I love to hear. So I have to ask, have you got a crazy story or a story that even has just stuck with you that you had an experience with a patient or client?
Yes. So I actually last week did a post, you might have seen it on Instagram, Confessions of a Practitioner. So I'd never spoken about this before, but it was about 6 years ago. So I'd only been practicing for about a year, and the clinic I was in at the time, so I had the bottom bit of a salon. So upstairs was the hairdressers, and it was 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening. Everyone had gone home, so it was just me and my last client of the day. So she came in and was like, oh, I've got a phobia of needles, don't like needles. Everyone says that to me. But I was like, right, are you okay? Are you sure you want to continue with treatment? Have you eaten? Do you need water? She was like, yeah, I'm fine. Seemed absolutely fine. So she was having chin and lip filler. So I'd done her chin filler and she passed out straight after. So as soon as the needle was out, she passed out. And I was like, oh my God. So she came round and everything, gave her water. I was like, are you okay? She was like, yeah, no, I feel fine now. Can we still do my lips? And I was like, no, don't think that's a good idea. So I said, I just need to massage your chin and I just want to check it all. So as I'm massaging her chin and checking it, she passes out again and then takes a deep breath. And I thought, oh my God, she stopped breathing. So in my head, I'm like, right, I need to grab my phone. I need to call 999. I need to start compressions. So like all of my health and safety and first aid was coming to me. And then I suddenly realised it wasn't because she stopped breathing, it's because she was going to be sick. So at the time, my bed that I had in there was kind of like a chair, a recliner chair. So I'm stood there. So I had her head like this. And I thought, I've got to hold her head up because she's going to choke on her sick. So I'm holding her like that and she's projectile vomiting all over me. And I had a brand new pair of boots on and I just remember thinking, oh my God, my boots, oh my boots. And then she came back around. She was like, I feel fine now. We really can do my lips. And I was like, absolutely not. It was horrendous.
Oh my God.
So I was like, right, you just need to lay there. I don't need to move. Gave her water, cleared it up. And I hate sick. I mean, who's good with sick? Someone else is sick as well. I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous. This is an absolute career low for me. And kept her with me for about half an hour because she was by herself and she was driving home about 20 minutes away. And I was like, I can't let you get into your car till I know you're okay. And I'm a worrier. And she was like, no, I'm absolutely fine. And she had the colour back in her cheeks and everything. So she went. I lived 5 minutes away. So I said to her, please message me when you get home because I will worry. So then I drove home. I'm pacing my flat waiting for her to message me. So I messaged her and I'm like, are you okay? Did you get home okay? Didn't hear anything back. I messaged her again and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I thought, I've got her number. I've got all her details in the form. So I thought I'll text her. If not, I'll call her. So I text her. She was like, yeah, babe, I'm fine. I'm in bed. I thought, well, I'm glad you're fine.
Oh my God.
It was horrendous.
The panic.
Yeah, the panic and then just having to deal with
God.
just holding someone's head knowing you just got to take it. I've literally just got to take it.
That's insane that she knew how bad her phobia was and then she still... Did she ever come back for the lip filler?
No, thank goodness. Because she was like, I'll message you next week and I'll book back in. And I was thinking, please don't.
Yeah.
But to even come by herself, like not bring her mum or something like that.
That's insane.
It was
wow,
just
poor you.
horrendous.
How are your boots?
I did manage to clean them. They were okay.
Good,
But
good. That would also... I felt you then. I was like, when you wear something new and it's like wrecked and you're like, no. Oh gosh, that's awful. Well, I mean, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I think that's up there. So tell us where people can find you, a bit about you, like your socials. How can people get in touch?
So I have my aesthetic Instagram, which is Natalie_NMK_aesthetics. And then I have my Instagram, which if you want to see what I'm getting up to, which is, I mean, mainly I've got a few other businesses. So running lots of businesses and mum life. That is Natalie_Kelly. It's really hard to get an Instagram name nowadays,
really
isn't
is.
it?
They're so saturated.
Yeah, there's so many people that have got my name. Like, how dare you? So yeah, they're my socials. And then I do have a Facebook page as well, but I'm not very good on that. It's linked to the Instagram. Everything goes on the Instagram from there. So yeah.
Lovely. And if someone wants to book, message you on Instagram?
Message me. Yeah, message me or WhatsApp me. But you can get my WhatsApp off of my Instagram as well because some people prefer WhatsApp, some people prefer Instagram. So yeah.
Lovely. And then of course I have to ask the question that makes the most sense about the podcast. Is the patient always right?
No, but we let them think that they are. A good practitioner will let them think that they are.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
You.
You've honestly been great and covered so many things. But yes, looking forward to following your journey with your second little one.
Thank you very much.
Love hearing the real stories behind the aesthetics, medical and dental industries? Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Patient Is Always Right for exclusive content. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to watch the full episodes on YouTube. Hit follow, subscribe and stay tuned.